Hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel, Crafty Concepts with Erin. Today we're going to make a very pretty Mother's Day card featuring die cuts. And so I have some of the thin cut dies from close to my heart here. I love layering die cuts. I think it's super simple and quick to do, and it just has a lot of wow factor. So let's take a look at the core catalog. We'll flip towards the back here where all the die cuts are, and you can see they have all of these background dies. These are gorgeous. There's the floral background and the stitched lattice. We also have the hearts, and I mean, there's tons of them. And then if you turn the page back, there's the 3D flower thin cuts, and I have the two smallest. So you can see this one is the largest. I mean, it's pretty good size compared to my hand. And there's four in total, so I have the two smallest. And then this little guy is the fancy borders. You can see what a cute card they've created with it, but there's 5 different borders there, so I've chose the scalloped edge one. Just to save a little bit of time, I'm going to stack 2 sheets of white daisy on top of each other so I get 4 of my flower images with one pass. I just saw Julie from the creative design team do this the other day, and I thought, yeah, let's work smarter, not harder. So I've gone ahead and run those through my Gemini, and now you can see we'll just peel these apart. We have 2 of the smaller and then 2 of the larger size that I have here. We'll set those aside for now. Now using the stitched lattice die, I have a sheet of wisteria cardstock here. I'm going to cut from the lighter side. So look at all that detail, so quick and easy. And then for this little guy here, this fancy stitch border, we're going to run him directly across a piece of white daisy cardstock. This is cut to 4 1/4, so I want it centered. To make sure it doesn't move, I'm going to adhere it with my Post-it removable labeling tape and just put a piece on either side so it doesn't shift when I'm putting it through my die cutting machine. So this is going to give us a place to stamp our sentiment, and check out that detail again, the stitching, the scallops, it's all just so very pretty. I'm using a sentiment that says "To the Best Mother," and this is from an exclusive stamp set that came with the Craft with Heart card subscription. So if you don't have a Mother's Day stamp in your stash, there's good news because Close to My Heart has a special going on right now. It's called Mothers Are Best. It's a stamp set. You can create some beautiful artwork with it and lots of sentiments on there. Here's a layout and some card ideas. Super fun. I am pulling out my all-purpose mat because I want to do a little ink blending on these flower petals here. I want to give them some color. So I'm using my peach ink and a sponge blending tool, and I just want the tips of the flowers colored. So it just creates a soft look. So I'm going to build up the color here. I'm really putting pressure on the inside of that petal so I don't wrinkle it when I am ink blending over it, but I've sped this up quite a bit. We're just going around, and I'll show you. I'll put this on a piece of white paper so it shows up. You can see the difference and what a pretty look that gives. I went ahead and did the rest of those off camera so you didn't have to watch me inking every one of them, but it just, oh, I love that look. And now we're going to glue these together, but before we do that, we want to add some life to these petals. So I'm going to curl them over my finger, kind of bending them to give them some dimension and interest. When I think of Mother's Day, I think of flowers, so these flower dies are just kind of timeless. They're classic. They're never going to go out of style. You can use them for so many different projects, so definitely a good investment to have in the craft room. My boys always ask me every year, "Mom, what do you want for Mother's Day?" And I jokingly say, "How about a clean house and no fighting for like the entire day? No, not one complaint. No bickering, nothing." Wouldn't that be like the best Mother's Day? Man, just imagine what that would be like. No, really, I've got good kids, but they, they're siblings. They do squabble occasionally, and they definitely make messes. Now, this is a little trick I learned from Julie from the creative design team. I'm going to put a generous dollop of liquid glass in the center of my flower, and then I'm going to add these little bitty beads to the center. These are also from the core catalog. There's the bold bitty beads and the bright bitty beads, and they're there's 8 different colors in total, so they're really cool in these flower centers, and the liquid glass dries clear and holds them nice and solid. You could also use liquid pearls in the center. That would be really pretty. So I'm dumping off my little excess ones, and I had a complete fail. So I missed the jar completely. So maybe put a piece of paper underneath to catch all of your beads that are excess. We're ready to start assembling our cards. So I'm bringing in a base from the White Cards and Envelope Value Pack, and then I'm using my Tombow liquid glue here, the white one, going around the edge. You want to be careful to avoid the large holes. We don't want anything squishing out, so I'm putting it on sparingly, just a few dabs here and there in the center, and we'll line this up on our A2 card panel here. Give it a good press, and I'm going to put acrylic blocks on this to dry. And of course I skipped the segment where I'm drying it, but give it a few minutes so it dries flat, and then we can go ahead with the rest of the card here. I'll glue down our scalloped border piece here with our sentiment on the bottom. You can do so many fun looks with this scallop border. Ooh, my block's dirty. We'll go with that one. So now I'm going to show you guys some new layered leaves that are coming up in the May and June catalog. Oh my gosh, these are so cool. Look at all the different combinations. You have the base leaf that you can use alone, and then all the layers. So I am just using a layer. I wanted something very lacy and delicate. These I cut from vellum. You can see I have 2 of those, and the other 4 are from avocado. Now this is also from a May special coming up, these butterfly dies, and I went ahead and cut the tiniest butterfly out overlay with peach cardstock. And now I'm just using my inking tool to add a little peach ink to the ends just to give that some depth. These little butterflies are so pretty, and I love how they give you different sizes. I'm excited for you guys to see the May special. It's very different. It's gorgeous, and I love it. I hope you're going to love it too. So I'm placing my flower down just to get an idea of where I want to put my leaves, and then I'll go ahead and glue these guys down. I'm using my tweezers. You don't have to, it just makes it easier. And I'm only applying glue to the bottom portion of these leaves, and then I'll tuck them underneath the flower. And I think I want one right up top here, and get the nice and pressed down. We'll repeat that process. I'm going to dry fit these first just to make sure I know where I want them. Aren't these pretty? They're so lacy. Again, you can overlay these over the solid background piece or just use them as a standalone embellishment, which is what I'm doing here. I don't know if you guys caught my triadic color theory video from last week, but the purple, orange, and green was one of the triadic color combinations. So that's where I came up with this card, and I combined the wisteria, the avocado, and the peach, and I think it turned out really pretty. When you follow those color theory principles, you can pretty much be confident that your color combinations are going to work together and be very pleasing to the eye. So I'm wondering, do you guys celebrate Mother's Day with any fun family traditions? My mom and I love to drive over to Half Moon Bay. We don't necessarily go on Mother's Day, but we try to go around Mother's Day. And we go over to Half Moon Bay for the day, walk on the beach, have lunch. But really the draw is the nurseries over there, the plant nurseries. Oh my gosh, it's on the coast, and they just have the most amazing nurseries. It's called Half Moon Bay Nursery, and we just go and we get tons of pretty plants. We fill the car up and then we drive back, and it's fun. We've been doing it for years. Last year we didn't get to go, of course, because everything was shut down. So we got together and had coffee, which was still amazing. I'm very lucky to see my mom quite often. We live very close together. So you can see I nestled that pretty little butterfly amongst the flower to finish this card off, and I went ahead and stamped the inside with Happy Mother's Day. So the outside says to the best mother and then Happy Mother's Day. That sentiment is from the months of the year stamp, which is May, so that'll be available May 1st. Here's another variation. I have cut out the background with the Floral thin cut out of grape cardstock. We turn this card horizontal. The flower is created with ballerina cardstock, which I alternated the dark and the light. So here's that floral background die. And then the leaves that I tucked back there are stamped images from the Daisy Meadows scrapbooking stamp. So I stamped those in avocado and die cut those out and tucked those behind the ballerina flower. I hope you guys are inspired to get into your craft room and whip up a beautiful Mother's Day card. If you're interested in any of these products, check the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.